It's just a public service announcement. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho, H to the O-V. I used to move snowflakes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pro Sports Takes, where we make our takes on the future of sports.
And this is PSO's first show, so we're coming out to make statements, not sentences. On this platform, we plan on elaborating on why the biggest topics in sports can affect the near future of the game. At the end of the day, we're not here to be conservative or make safe takes, but to make bold predictions that are actually likely to happen. So welcome to episode 5, where we're going to discuss the Eastern Conference Finals, who has the chance to make it to the finals and compete against potentially the Lakers, the Rockets, the Clippers. We're diving into who can really unseat the Bucks. And when I think it comes into this year, I think the Bucks should still be the favorite. And they will face a lot of issues when they come into the season, such as there's 3 really good teams that can compete against them. The Raptors, the Celtics, and the Heat, who are legitimate title contenders, not only Eastern Conference contenders, but legitimate title contenders. And they have the ability to throw multiple bodies at Giannis Antetokounmpo in a matchup against the Bucks. But all these teams have great coaches, but none of them have the connection and experience that the Bucks do. Although Nurse has been with the Raptors for a while, it's only his second year as head coach, and he's lost one of the best players in the NBA in Kawhi Leonard. The Raptors barely made their way through the Eastern Conference semis last year if it wasn't for Kawhi's famous rim-bouncing shot that they'll no longer have on their team. They do lack scoring. They play great defense and they play as a team, but they don't have that superstar factor, which Kyle Lowry just isn't. I don't even want anybody to debate that with me. The Heat are a really good team, and Bam Adebayo has the best chance of guarding Giannis of anyone in the Eastern Conference. But I still think they're about a year away. I think Tyler Hero is going to develop into a really good player, and once he does, I think they might be the favorite in the East at one point in his career. But I can see the Heat as a surprise team in the East this year too. And finally, the Celtics, who really pose as the biggest threat to the Bucks because of their star power. They have the likes of Kemba Walker, Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown's really came up this year and only almost put up an all-star caliber performance this season to this point. And Gordon Hayward was really starting to show some flashbacks of the old. He's just clearly not back, but he's starting to show some flashbacks. And the team is really starting to show some promise. It could be a huge matchup in the Eastern Conference Finals, but I can't see Giannis losing that battle. The Bucks have that star power with Giannis and Middleton, but they also have the important role players that know how to do their job and that have plenty of experience along with that, with Wes Matthews, Brooke and Robin Lopez, Bledsoe, George Hill, and they even got Kyle Korver this season, who's going to knock down his threes when he gets a chance, and he's going to play in the playoffs. Hill, Matthews, and Bledsoe are all above average defenders, and the Lopez's play with maximum effort as they try to block the rim. They have young players in DiVincenzo and Connaughton who are real solid, and Dante was really starting to turn the corner before the hiatus happened. I basically went through the whole roster at this point. With the pandemic, they've had a huge break, and when you come out of a huge break or you come out of a situation that you've never faced before in your career, you want to make sure you have a great coach, and they have that in Budenholzer, who's been experienced for a while, who brought the best out of the Hawks. And their best player is a determined player. When you think of Giannis, he doesn't train with other players in the offseason because he likes coming at guys' throats. And that's kind of the difference between him and LeBron, maybe in a say. I don't want to come at LeBron because I know you LeBron fans, haters, will be commenting all over this. But Giannis has that killer instinct. And when you pair that with a great coach who really knows what he's doing, I think they deserve to still be the favorites.
Yeah, so yesterday we talked about the MLB MVP, so go check that out if not already. But today we're talking about the NBA's MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's right, I know how to say it after 23 tries. But Giannis is going to win MVP this year. That is obvious. It seemed like LeBron kind of had an outside chance at coming back down the stretch, but with only 8 regular season games left now, that's just not possible. So we can crown the Greek Freak with his second consecutive MVP, no doubt. But my take today is, like last year, that will be the only MVP he'll be winning, as the finals MVP will be won by a different star player. Before the season suspension, the Bucks had the best, or at least the top 3 chance at competing for the title this year with their continuity and continued improvement as a squad as a whole. They were looking like the clear-cut Eastern Conference champion this year. I even made a bet that they would come out of the East because it was really looking that inevitable. But here we are 5 months later, and I believe no team's chances have declined more than the Bucks itself, and here's why. It really all starts with the Greek god himself. He'll still be able to bully his way to the cup and play lights out defense for sure, but what elevated Milwaukee into true title contenders and Giannis into arguably the best player in the game is the development of his outside shot, as he's making twice as many threes this year than he did last year. But make no mistake about it, Giannis is not a natural shooter. Getting those consistent reps in and building confidence in his shot on a daily basis is huge for him to be the high-level player he's become. Without that, the Bucks could seriously struggle in the playoffs. And while many players like LeBron or Lillard said they've been able to still get their jump shots in during the time off, it caught headlines when Giannis said he had absolutely no access to any hoop during the shutdown for at least a month or two. That's a real concern. Like if someone like Steph Curry takes some time off from shooting, it's like riding a bike. Once you hop back on, the swishes will come. But a player like Giannis doesn't have that benefit and will really need time to get that shooting stroke back to what it was. Not to mention his partner in crime, Chris Middleton, is another player who stated that he had no access to a hoop during the hiatus as well. So I don't know how they're going to be able to recover from that, but the Bucks' chemistry might not come back to the level it was during the season either, because that was really a big strength that they had that who knows how it's going to reform after 5 months off. So it really seems like this whole situation has evened the playing field somewhat, giving lesser teams a better chance and better teams less of a chance. And my take is that no team has seen their chances decline more than Milwaukee, and they should not be considered the favorite anymore.
Understandable. And I know you talked about Giannis and him not being able to continue his trajectory of becoming a better three-point shooter. But I know last year, obviously, the Bucks didn't make it over the hump. They ran into the Raptors, who they lost in, I believe, 6 games last year to the Kawhi-led Raptors, like I said. But the Bucks really got there because they were really good at spacing the court. They would let Giannis bring the ball down the court, do his thing, but they would be able to dish it out to three-point shooters. I know Brook Lopez was shooting really good last year. Even Ersan Ilyasova was hitting his shots. Connaughton. They had a good amount of shooters last year. George Hill is a really good shooter. So do you think if Giannis can't hit his threes, you think that will kind of deteriorate their ability for Budenholzer to kind of change the switch or go back to kind of what he did last year?
Yeah, I just think it's kind of detrimental to their whole style of play. Like him at least being a threat from the three-point line makes defenses kind of come and guard him, not be able to sag off. And obviously they've surrounded him very well with shooters like Brook Lopez and bigs who can be able to hit those three-point shots. But him really hitting that jump shot, I think, is such a big X factor to their ability to win. But when it comes to this kind of situation, I look at the other teams, like a team like the Miami Heat, who usually really would have little chance with no continuity, no playoff experience. But those factors have pretty much been completely eliminated in an environment like this. Plus, Miami plays in Florida, so like they're used to all those palm trees and nice weather, so they're ready to work. I mean, we heard the story of Jimmy Butler dribbling the basketball in his hotel room, whereas a team like Milwaukee, they could be enjoying those things a little more than the others, and every little thing makes a difference when the race is this close. I really don't think any team has a specific edge. I'm not saying the Bucks aren't favorites and this team is favorites. I really believe that any top 5 team in the East could play in the finals this year. I just really am trying to get out that the belief that the Bucks winning the East was inevitable, I don't think that really stands anymore.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the end of episode 5. Rob thinks that the Bucks' chances have deteriorated as we go into this newfound that situation that nobody has ever faced before. And I think that the Bucks have the ability to withstand and still fight to having a good playoff chance. Either way, I think we both agree that the Bucks had the top chance no matter what if there was not the hiatus, if the pandemic didn't hit, especially in the Eastern Conference. But that's our takes. The Bucks, they're going to be battling it out in the Eastern Conference, and we'll see if they come out on top or if we see they forward the teams like the Sixers, the Heat, the Celtics, many more. So we'll see what happens in the Eastern Conference Finals, and we'll see if anybody can unseat the Clippers or the Lakers or the Rockets in the Western Conference.
Yeah, these are post-pandemic takes out here, so that's what we got to adjust to the circumstances, just like the Bucks will have to adjust to those. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm excited to watch NBA basketball next week, though. We got the scrimmages going on, but it's nothing like when those real games start to count. So looking forward to that. Thank you all for listening. That's our take for the day, and you can find all pro sports takes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, or wherever you're listening to this right now, or even better if you're watching this on Pro Sports Outlook's YouTube channel.
And instead of just listening or even just watching, get involved yourself and leave a comment on what player or what team you want us to make takes about. You can tweet us at PSO_sports and use the hashtag ProSportsTakes. And we'll go through each of those responses and see if we can add some knowledge to the subjects you guys like.
And we'll see you all next week.
See y'all then.